On this episode, we explore loyalty of epic proportions. My guest is Dustin. He's one of my closest and most loyal friends. But that's not the loyalty that I'm talking about. Dustin is the father of two sons, one of whom battled cancer from 2020 to 2023. Throughout those years, Dustin and his wife were in and out of hospitals, sometimes struggling to afford care, yet Dustin remained loyal to his faith, to his family, and to himself. We also talk about the death of Nike and sneaker collecting, the rise of running shoes, and the unexplained popularity of the Panda Dunk. Let's jump in. What? Oh man, this would be horrible. Just go into your friends' phones and then find their spouse and then change the name to Spam Likely.
What?
And
Why
they're
do you never answer your
my calls? Why do you never answer?
Why do you always send me the voicemail?
Hey, no. Just go to your friend's phone and change your name and number to Spam Likely. Like change yours, and then when you call, just call them all the time and just be like, "Why are you?"
That's a good idea.
That's so stupid. Oh my gosh. It was just the prickly pear shiner talking. It is interesting, isn't it?
It's very interesting.
But if I didn't like, okay, this would be shiner prickly pear. If you don't like drinking things that taste like beer, drink this.
If all you want is something cold from a bottle, this is what you're looking for.
If you go to a place that doesn't serve wine, drink this.
Prickly pear is yours.
Prickly pear. It's the wine of Shiner beers. There's another kind in there though. I don't know what the other. It's not regular though. We drank all the regular ones.
Yeah.
These are all okay. When we start the podcast, I'll say that this was all provided by Shiner Saloon. Go figure.
Maybe you get
It's the official beer of Shiner Saloon, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it's not, I mean, there's a problem, right?
Yeah. It's their number one produced, distributed flavor of beer right now.
What's that?
The prickly pear.
No, it's not.
It should be.
Hey, that's why you're a good salesman.
There you go.
Right there. You almost had me. I was like, wow.
Really?
But then I thought about like how much you fucking hate it and that you wouldn't have any time to like look it up, any information on your phone. I was like, he's full of shit. Oh man. Think about how much I just think about how much cell phones have ruined like the homeless community. Because like before, like if they were like begging for money or food, right? And like you're in your car, you don't have anything to like, you just holding the steering wheel going like, hey, I don't want you to look you in the eye. But then once you got your cell phone, it's like every stoplight, just like pick up your cell phone, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy on my phone. And they're just like, God damn it, these cell phones.
Yes and no.
What do you mean?
It's kind of weird how you'll drive by or under an overpass and you'll see all the homeless people. But for some reason, they're all like on a cell phone doing scoliosis, like looking through it. Like, you're under a bridge right now. How do you have a cell phone?
Have you not cell phone service or just a cell phone?
I mean, they have to have some type of service because they might be scrolling on a black phone, like a black screen. But I see homeless people begging for money all the time, and they have the sign right here, and then they got a phone right here. Like,
do you think homeless people are all Facebook friends together?
Probably. They probably definitely have a
community.
A community.
How come we haven't found out about it?
Or a group chat.
Do you know how they always suggest communities to you?
Yeah.
Like, how do you get a homeless community suggested to you? They're like, oh, this guy just got divorced. He might be homeless. Let's a homeless community under I-35.
You referenced 35. I was going to say, join our group 249 in 1960. We're the best group ever.
We have cell phone service.
Yeah.
We give out a free cell phone to everybody who joins the group.
Everybody joins the group. Free cell phone. 30 days free trial.
Oh my gosh.
Wi-Fi if you can contribute to the group. If you can make enough money to contribute, you get free Wi-Fi.
Man, I don't know how the fuck we got there. Wow. That's just for me though. That's for you, Gene. I'll be sending this to you for 100%. I don't know how much this I'm going to keep, but definitely I'll send it to you. All right. So, wow. I haven't laughed that hard in a while.
I haven't laughed that hard since I was a little girl.
Okay. I think we're good enough friends. I'm not really worried about it. Do you know what one of my greatest memories of you is?
What?
Probably we lived together and maybe I'm sure I brought it up before because this is the kind of person I've been, that dickhead before that just can't let shit go. But it is really a great memory. We were living together and I remember I don't know, maybe I'd gone out late or something. You'd stayed in and I hear Star Wars on really loud in your room. And I walked out in your room and you're just cold passed out, sitting up with a beer in your hand in your underwear.
I remember that.
And I was like, oh, dog. It was like you were coherent, but you weren't. And I was like, this is incredible. They could do surgery on his brain right now. And it's he wouldn't even feel it, but it would help.
Either that or you might consider it a superpower. To be able to be completely incapacitated mentally, but fully awake and holding a beer.
Yeah. Man. Straight up, I am so glad that we are friends, and I know, just because I know me, and there were moments where I was not a very good friend to you, and I apologize for that.
I can't think of any. I can definitely think of some moments when you gave
unsolicited advice.
No.
Oh.
Well, yeah, maybe. But
yeah, that sounds like me.
Constructive criticism.
That would be fair, but it's the delivery that is where I failed. You know what I mean? If I wanted to be helpful, then my delivery needed to be changed, I would say.
You were young.
But I'm glad you overlooked that and was
can't take anything personal. At the end of the day, I knew you were trying to make me a better person.
What was what's your favorite story from us working together at 24?
Working together or living together?
Oh, I mean,
as soon as you said you had a favorite story from us living together, I had one that popped into my brain immediately.
Go.
And it's related to 24-hour fitness.
Okay.
Do you remember Judd Kaiser?
Okay.
He was operations manager.
Yes.
Little short, brown-headed dude.
Yeah.
He was taking the club over in the Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to give him a going away present to put on his desk to remember us by. Is any of that ringing a bell?
Yeah.
So you went and you bought a little cube that you could slide a picture in on all four sides.
Uh-huh.
And it had a button you could push that you could record a hello, how you doing, have a good day or whatever. Do you remember it all?
All this sounds super familiar. But I don't remember where this goes.
And we can definitely, like I said, we're like you said, we're good enough friends.
Yeah.
Might have to edit some stuff, but I can't remember. Each of us would say something specific to Judd all the time, and I can't remember for the life of me what each of us would say. But we both had you had the great idea, and I definitely thought it was awesome for us to take specific pictures and put on his little cube to put in there. And for some reason, yours was for me to take a picture of your ass. So we were right there in the kitchen area, and you had a camera that had a little screen on it, and you took my picture, and I can't even remember what the hell my picture was. But you're like, all right, D, you ready? And I'm like, all right, cool. And you turned around, and I didn't want to look at your ass. So I put the camera up like this to where I could see your butt in your shorts. And I said, all right, I'm going to turn my head and I'm going to say go. When I say go, pull your shorts down and I'll take the picture. And so I turned my head. I said go. I took the picture. You pulled your shorts back up. I turned my head back and you came around for us to look at the picture. And you could see your hanging down. Do you remember that now or no?
No, I don't remember. I'm listening, going like, I can't believe I did this shit.
You can see.
No, but the story.
Let me finish, so you know that I'm being factual. I'm not making this up.
No, I know. I 100% believe you. 100% believe you.
We looked at it. I'm like, yo, bro, come on. And then we took the second picture, and you grabbed your boys and picked them up to where they weren't in the picture, so it was just your butt. So you're doing a moon, and then you're like, D, I gotta explain. You're like, I have this condition to where one of my testicles hangs lower than my other because of my vas deferens or something like that. And it's been like that my whole life.
Yes, this is a very true statement.
I'm like, hey, bro, it's whatever. I just didn't think it would be very smart for you to put a picture of your ass with your ball sack hanging down.
I can't believe you didn't stop me from putting a picture of my ass. What were we doing? And what did he like? Did he just throw that cube away immediately?
No, when we gave it to him, he thought it was funny as shit.
Well, we were good
Funny as
employees.
poop.
We were good employees.
You remember this? And I still do this to this day. Jason, you have a member at the front desk. Jason, you have a member at the front desk. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I do. I do it to Aaron all the time. I'm like,
Is I had this really awesome employee that worked for me named Amber. Shout out Amber if you ever see this in DC. And we were both behind the register, and this really cute dude came in and she was talking to him and stuff, and she was blushing and stuff, and I was just right over at the other register, and she's to my left, and I'm letting her do her thing. I'm not trying to do nothing. And she goes to she takes his clothes off the hanger, and she goes to turn around and throw it in the little bin, and it falls.
oh, tragic.
Tragic. As soon as she bends over, I'm like, and the dude's face was like, oh my God. And she jumps up. She's like, Dustin, damn it, I hate you. I hate you. Oh I was like, what did I do?
Oh, man. Look, there are so many times. There's so many times in my life where people bend over and things, and it goes through my head. I have to go, wait, whoa, you're like in public. You can't just do that. Like, you know what I mean? Or I'll do it like randomly, Aaron. And she always thinks it's funny, but she's like, stop fucking around.
I don't care. Like we were talking about the gaff factor earlier. When it comes to my gaff factor is like 10. I don't give a F at all. I'll hit random people with it.
Oh man, I mean, but it's like, God, I don't know who taught me that. Somebody taught me that. Like, I don't know.
It took me a while when you first did it. It took me a while to get it down, but I turned it into a honed skill.
Yeah, I would say you're pretty. Like, if there was like the equivalent of like an air guitar contest, except it was for like making fart noises. I mean, I'd put my money on you. Dustin showed like a guy that looks like he's playing cornhole. Yo, I'm here to win this bitch. Oh man. Oh, I'm crying. Holy shit.
In a good way.
Yeah. Oh, in a good way. Yeah. It was like 20 minutes of nonsense. All righty. Whew. Are you having a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
Me
Love
too.
it.
Yeah. It kind of feels just like hanging out a little bit.
It does.
Yeah. Oh man. Like what I snuck up on you, right? You didn't know when we started the first time that we were starting, right?
I knew.
But like, hey, but when you got it, like you got right in, and I was like, that's my dog. You jump right in. He ain't scared.
I ain't scared of nothing.
He ain't scared. Nothing.
No thing.
And little did you know you'd be taking pictures of my butt for
For our boss.
for our boss. Oh my
Years
God.
later. It's not like we did that
I don't even know if that sounds better. You know what I mean? Like
a little bit. I wouldn't say. I want everybody to know that we didn't do it like the first week we worked together. But yeah,
did you invent the tall boy challenge?
I think it was a collaborative effort
Between the two of us?
between the two of us. And it's funny that you bring that up because I figured that was going to be the first thing you asked me when I got here today.
Mm-hmm.
If I did the tall boy challenge.
Well, the reason I didn't ask is because it's super irresponsible at this point.
But no, I did not because I had to.
Because you're a responsible adult now, right?
Has nothing to do with it. Has nothing to do with it. But I literally drove from Houston straight to Austin and had to go straight into a business event. So I couldn't walk in there in any type of state. I can't even think of the word right now.
Inebriated?
I didn't want to say inebriated. Impaired.
There you go.
That's the word I was looking for. I could not seem or smell impaired in any way. I did not take on the tall boy challenge.
I'm just glad that I survived everything, all the stupid things I did.
Same here.
I mean, just all of them. And now that I have like kids, or I have kids, I have kids. Now that I was thinking of your kids at the same time I was saying kids, but like there has to be a level of like, you're like, man, like I need to be more responsible because these people depend on me. You know what I mean?
Got to make better decisions. But best believe I thought about the tall boy challenge.
Well, just as long as you thought about it, you know what I mean? It's like R.I.P.
Good memories.
Good memory. R.I.P. to the Tall Boy Challenge.
Yeah.
It's not politically correct anymore at all.
Yeah. But hey.
Let me back that up. It was never a good idea, ever.
Never. But I will say this.
What?
When I leave here tomorrow to drive back to Houston, I'm driving straight to my house. So I might resurrect it.
Dustin.
They don't know what the tall boy challenge is.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's hard to figure out. Like, I'm not going to divulge. I mean, we should Google that after we get done, because
see if it's a thing.
Yeah, maybe it's in the Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary. I was just about to say the same thing.
Yeah. How? Okay. Because I honestly haven't. We've been hanging out, but I haven't asked you this at all. Like, how's everybody doing?
Good.
How's the fam doing?
Fam's doing good.
Yeah.
Fam's doing good. Wife started her own business a little bit more than a year ago.
Going good?
Going great. So she's doing good. Boys are doing good.
But is it okay? So obviously she kind of had this dream of starting her business. Is it weird that someone wouldn't support their spouse and trying to do something that they want to do like that? You know what I mean? It seems like a very obvious statement to make, like that's what you're supposed to do. But I was thinking about how many people kind of sometimes don't do that. You know what I mean? Like when she wanted to quit, you were kind of like, no, like keep doing this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what you're there for as her teammate, as her partner,
Very true. Speaking personally,
okay,
from our relationship and history, It was not very easy. The only thing that made it easy for me to support her and back her up so much is I could see her passion and drive and energy and excitement as to the future potential, as to how successful she could be at it. In years past, she tried multiple different startup stuff, like buy this kit and sell it and make money. Multiple, I forget what they're called, the pyramid things.
They're so hard.
It is. Especially if you don't come from a sales background, like something to where you talk to people every day and can communicate the features and benefits of what you're selling to somebody.
Okay, like even as good of a salesman that you are, that shit's hard to like have your own startup business and try to like sell that, right?
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's like next level sales, and they don't tell you that when you're taking these certifications and setting up these things.
They're
you know
trying
what I mean?
to sell you the kit so they get their little stats.
Yeah, that's right.
And she tried multiple, and was not successful. But when I saw, like I said, her passion and interest in this, and we were struggling, I just kept telling her, stay with it. You're going to be successful. It's going to take off. We put it in God's hands. And like I said, it's steamrolling now.
Did any part of your son being sick give you that, when you said like, we put it in God's hands, to give you that belief that this will work out because of the experience you had, him being sick?
Say it one more time.
So going through what you did with Riddick, right? Did any part of that give you the belief of putting things into God's hands that in turn was able to allow you to go to Nikki and go like, well, hey, we're going to put this in God's hands. You can do this, blah, blah, blah. Like you kind of learn that belief.
Hugely.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Hugely. I was raised and grew up very religious. We weren't like killer religious, like hardcore church every.
Oh,
yeah.
We're religious.
Yeah.
I just like how you use the term killer. I've never I usually use the term like really Christian, but I like that you use killer religious.
Killer religious.
Killer religious.
Well, most people that are like Catholic,
Yeah,
they understand what killer religious means.
Yeah, I think we're all saying the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just like you're abusing the Bible. That's what it feels like.
And she always had questions. She was always very inquisitive into God and Christianity.
Did she not grow up that way?
Not really. But like I said, she was always interested and had questions. And I could answer stuff to a certain point, but we weren't like hardcore. So I couldn't answer all the questions. And Riddick was diagnosed, and it was really hard the first 6 to 8 months to try to figure out or quantify why or how. We were already going through financial stuff, and something that always stuck with me as an adult in relation to religion is the Bible says that God never gives you more than you can handle. So I told her that we're going to get through it. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to get through it. And started to do regular prayers, started teaching Riddick more about God and the one-on-one line of communication that we all have. And literally through his entire treatment, struggling financially, emotionally, physically. Every single time it came down to we have $0 in the bank. And something's due tomorrow. The hospital would deposit $2,500 in the bank account. Overpaid bills. And we'd be like, whew, that was a close one. A couple months later, same situation. Light's about to get shut off. This foundation decided to donate $1,000 to you. Every time. And after the third or fourth time, we're like, duh. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming from somewhere. Like, and there's only one place it could be coming from.
It's like, how many more examples do you need?
Exactly. That's what I said. Like, literally, it's like the Lord Jesus Christ and God saying, literally, it's like the Lord Jesus and God saying, hello, McFly, are you in there? Are you listening? You know what I mean? And after that, that just kept happening and kept happening and kept happening until like the first 1.5 to 2 years into his treatment. And his total treatment was 2.5 years. After like the first 1.5 to 2 years, we're like, we're going to be fine. We have nothing to worry about. And literally, it was that easy. And her especially, I can do it more now that I don't work retail, but she's very into the church and taking the boys and getting them involved. They have a relationship with God and Jesus, and we pray all the time. And something that my dad had for us when he was raising me and my brother, there's this thing called the daily bread. It's a little plastic loaf of bread that you can buy. And we had it on our dining room table. And it's got Bible verses. It's got little cards that slide into it. And like I said, it looks just like a loaf of bread. And each night before dinner, each person would pull one of the little cards out and read the Bible verse. And my dad would explain what it meant and why it was important. So that's something that we have implemented in our family. And the kids love it.
This is the first time of me hearing about this.
Really?
I've never heard of this before in my entire life.
Yep.
That's cool.
I told Nikki about it. She's like, what? I've never seen that. And she Googled it or Amazoned it.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And it was popped straight up. So she ordered it and we have it on
probably different kinds of bread you can get.
No, it's just a little plastic loaf of bread.
Hey, it's like
you can't get
Hawaiian roll.
You can't get sourdough or pumpernickel.
What if I'm into that?
Yes. Long story short, God made himself present in a way that we will never forget. And I pray that no one ever has to go through that to find the power of prayer in Jesus. But it's true, factual, and out there. And we are 100% proof of it.
I agree. I feel the same way about my life. I don't have anything to add.
And I always get super emotional telling that story.
I mean, fairly, as you probably should. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I always try not to.
Well, but you know.
Every time I get a little bit closer to not crying.
Well, yeah, but sure, you know, but like, also like when you, anytime you experience trauma, it's really hard not to kind of feel it when you kind of experiencing it and you're talking about stuff like that, and to come back and feel those feelings. It's kind of like whenever, sometimes when I talk to people that do heroin and they'll start talking about what it's like to be dope sick. And then they'll be like, oh man, I can kind of feel it. You know, what that felt like, you know what I mean? To be dope sick from heroin. Mm-hmm. Just talking about it makes them kind of like feel like that. And so like, you know, it's normal if you would suffer trauma that if you kind of talk about it, that you would kind of feel
it. Brings it back a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Mm. Are your kids, are they big into iPads and stuff like that?
Huge. Yeah.
Is it a struggle?
It has become a struggle. Started with Riddick, because I think I told you the story before. When he got diagnosed with cancer, he was in the hospital, and this was right before COVID when he got diagnosed. So there'd be some times that Nikki or I wasn't allowed in the hospital room with him because of COVID restrictions. And we first got him a cell phone because we wanted him to have the opportunity to reach out to us and call and let us know if he needed something or something like that. And that was totally understandable. Yes, he was a 7-year-old, but you got to do what you got to do. And a couple months after him being in the hospital for treatment, some foundation donated an iPad to him just to, they do it for cancer kids just to take their mind off of what they're going through. So that's when he got really addicted to the electronics. But at the same time, we understood and we explained it to him. Dude, you're 7 years old. You really don't need a phone and an iPad, but you're going through some stuff. So we're going to make an exception. And then going into his treatment, it just got worse and worse. And it was a fine line that we had to walk because we understood what he was going through. But at the same time, he got really attached to it, to where that's all you want to do. And we'd have to take it away from him. Like, look, dude, we understand you're going through some stuff, but you're going to sit here and have conversations with people. You're not going to just get zoned into the electronic stuff. So it was a very fine line we had to walk, and we still walk it to this day. And then 2 years into his treatment, his little brother said, well, Riddick has a iPad and cell phone. Why can't I get an iPad? And we explained the whole situation where your brother's going through some stuff that you are lucky enough not to go through, which is why he has this stuff. And this is why we gave him this stuff, or why he got it. And we ended up getting his little brother, Riker, the Switch, just to kind of be fair. And we've made it clear that he's not getting a cell phone for a very long time. And then the following Christmas, his grandmother got him an iPad.
Oh, dang.
So Riddick now has the cell phone, an iPad, and Riker has a Switch and an iPad. So we definitely control the electronic usage on a daily basis. It's just something we had to work through.
Well, yeah. I mean, y'all got put in such a compromising position. You know what I mean? Like
big time.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, I mean, because yeah, like, you know, he went through something that like I don't have a lot of that in my family. So like most people I know I don't know a lot of people have had cancer. I just know a handful, especially not kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I mean, man, I commend you, bro. Like I think about my only kid, like getting sick like that, and how hard that must have been on you and Nikki and stuff. You know?
Feels very, very taxing. We always think it's a blessing because obviously he beat it, and we're actually coming up on his 1 year anniversary. March 19th is when he rang his bell for beating the cancer. But at the same time, we think it was kind of a blessing that it happened to him at such a young age, because to kids, they don't know defeat in life. They don't know pain. They don't know struggles. They don't know hardship. As adults, if you get diagnosed with cancer, you're pretty much like, it's over, I'm done. You know what I mean? Because life has beaten us down a lot. But kids don't know that. So the entire time going through his treatment, best attitude, happy all the time, even getting stuck by needles 4 times a day and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning every morning for 2.5 years for us to give him his chemo and his pills and stuff like that. And he took it like a champ, like a pro. And there was, in the 2.5 years of his treatment, there were 2 situations in which it got really, really bad, where he had to be taken to ICU. And he had the same oncology team his entire treatment. So they knew when he was coming in for a treatment or a checkup that it was going to be a good visit, because he was always happy. But in these 2 situations, the first time we had to take him in an ambulance down to Texas Children's in downtown Houston, and they brought his whole team there, and they could tell something was wrong just because he was being rude and disrespectful and mean. And that's not him by any means. Like I said, always happy and energetic going through the entire leukemia process. And they I can't remember if it was both of us or it was me or my wife, pulled us out of the room, and they're like, we know he's in pain right now because he's never like this. And throughout the whole 2.5 years, that only happened twice. So other than that, dude took it like a champ, like it wasn't nothing. It was just another something he had to overcome.
But like, back to your point, isn't that crazy that, okay, did he know that he had a potential to die?
He did. And me and my wife had that discussion very soon after his diagnosis. And I mean, very soon.
But did he really grasp the concept of it? Because because I feel like, just really quick, because we're adults and life has beat us down. Like, you're like, adults are kind of like, well, shit's over. You know what I mean? Because like, we kind of know that people die, but like when you're a kid, the concept of death around cancer is maybe not 100% understood. And is that what motivated him to keep going? Does that make sense?
That does make sense. But we sat him down, had a conversation, like I said, after me and Nikki talked about it for a while, because we wanted him to be in the know. Yes, he was 7 years old, but we've always been honest with him and Riker. This is how it is. This is what happens in life, this and that. So we literally had a conversation with our 7-year-old and said, there's a possibility, slim possibility, that this disease might take you off of this planet and send you to heaven. And at the time we were semi-religious, so he was aware of heaven, hell, God, devil. So he knew that when people die, they either go to heaven or hell. And there's certain situations that are out of our control. It's just what happens sometimes. And if God chooses to take you, that's what could possibly happen. And we explained to him, it's always a possibility, but we're going to get through it, and we're here to support you. And it's nothing that we're going to think about. And he totally understood what we were talking about. And we just powered through it. But we didn't want to try to mislead or conceal anything from him. So if that did end up happening, he wouldn't be caught off guard or shocked or scared. Like through the treatment, he'd have time to process what the possible outcome might be. But we stayed positive the entire time. All four of us, me, him, Nikki, and Riker.
Was that hard?
You wouldn't believe.
Oh no, I mean I would believe it's hard. I can't fathom. I can't. I tell Erin all the time that when she gets sick, just like a cold, bro, I'm like the biggest baby, like a rat. Like I'm just like, oh my god, like I can't handle that she just has a cold or she just run a fever. I'm like, hey, you take her temperature, you give her Tylenol. Like I'm just like, and so I can't imagine it being that times, like a billion.
Yeah.
In the kind of conversations you have to have and stuff like that. Did that in a weird way, are y'all bonded? Did that bond y'all as a family, you think?
Big time. It was a huge factor in me deciding to get out of the retail life. Because most people know in retail situations, when you're the owner of the business or the manager, like that's your thing. Like you're there every holiday, every weekend. And it just takes you away from your family. So I was already thinking about getting out of retail, but then he got diagnosed. So then I stayed with my employer to keep the medical benefits to get through it. And after we knew he was going to be fine is when I started to make the decision to transition out into a Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, to be there for whatever, take him to school, pick him up. Hopefully he'll get involved in sports at some point, but definitely opened my eyes to the fact that I need to be around for my family more. And I love that I'm now doing what I'm doing. I get to help out more and spend more time with them. It definitely brought us together better as a family.
Before we started the podcast, Dustin was talking about I used to work at Foot Locker in VA, right?
It was Champs at the time, but it was in VA.
Yeah, and that y'all just had like this, because Allen Iverson is from that area. They had an overload of question shoes that they couldn't get rid of. And what's the best Iverson question?
Georgetown.
What?
That was.
I can't even believe we're sitting next to each other right now. Georgetown?
That was the best seller.
No, I don't want sales. Like you're going to get a question. Which one are you getting?
I honestly would never buy a pair of Iverson.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, after we get done with this, I'm going to show you some. There's one. Do you know is it called the Heartbreaker or the Valentine's? The whole shoe is red, except for the toe is black. It's sick, dog.
Never seen that one.
Hey, we'll go through it later. Anyways, okay. Wait. Well, so what's your favorite model of shoe? What's your favorite model
of any shoe? Period.
Yeah, because then I'm gonna go. What's your favorite colorway? That's my next question. But if you want to answer both at the same time, I guess you can.
My favorite model of any shoe has always been Air Max 95s. At one point, I had probably about 50 pairs of just Air Max 95s.
Are they comfortable?
They're very comfortable for me because they're wide.
They're very comfortable for me because of the way they lace up. Because they can lace up very narrow without a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like how they kind of fold up around the foot?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I've always liked 95s because they're wide. I had so many dope colorways. And then...
This is one of my favorite. I didn't even know this existed until you rolled in with these. And so like, this is amazing.
The Astro ones?
Yeah. I can't believe I've never seen these before.
What's so funny is about these, and I didn't get to tell you about them earlier when I showed them to you. We first had them at the store, and I didn't buy them because I was questionable because we had one that came out before and it was H-Town DJ Screw.
The purple and black ones?
They were purple and white.
Yeah, but they
had like a little screw going down the back of them, and they had.
I had those.
I didn't like them.
Hey, I sold those for a lot of money.
Hey.
Hey.
So I was like, it's H-Town. And I was wanting to do it, but I just wasn't feeling them because I like 95s, but I'm not going to buy a pair that I know I'm not going to wear. So then these came out, and I was still kind of hesitant, and we sold out of them. And literally like 3 weeks later, we got another case shipped into the store. And I opened the box, and I'm looking at the front of the actual shoe box, and the tag says like $260 because they took them off the boxes now, but it used to have the little flip tag that said what the price was. Mm-hmm. And it said $260. I'm like, why the hell are these $260s? The same shoe we just had last week for $170 or 2 weeks ago, whatever. And I pull it out, and I'm looking at the same exact shoe, but then I look at the price tag again, and it had the 260 CAN. It was Canada price.
Oh.
Somehow that case of shoes got sent to Canada, and they didn't sell them. So they shipped them to my store because we sold out of them so fast.
Yeah, because who's buying H-Town shoes in Canada?
My thing was, why the hell did they even get sent to Canada?
They're like, that one Canadian out there likes the Astros. It's like, oh, maybe I'll go to this store.
Hey,
that's
I
ridiculous.
used to do that too. I'd call around when I was moving around so much. I'd call the Houston stores and ask them to send me Houston specific stuff just because I couldn't get it where I was living.
Yeah.
So that manager might have done the same thing. I don't know.
Maybe.
So when I got that case, I was like, okay, I guess it's meant to be. So that's when I copped these junks. My number one regret pertaining to Air Max 95s and shoes is I had a pair of the Air Max 95 Safari Premiums that I got when I opened the Nike store in Katy, Texas. And it was my first free pair of shoes because Nike gives managers free shoes. It was my very first pair of free shoes. And I don't know if you're familiar, but every one of the stripes was a different animal print.
I've seen those.
But it not only was an animal print, it was actual hair. It had fur on it.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
And this was 06, maybe 07. They retailed in 06, 07 for $200. Wrap your head around that. 06, 07 retail price $200.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's like a $500 shoe right now.
Yeah. No, like if you look them up now, shit.
No. What I'm saying is like,
regular retail
would have been like about 500,
exactly.
$499, something like that.
Yep. So I got those.
You still have those?
No, that was my biggest regret.
I bummed the story. Sorry.
I wore them a lot. I kept them clean. They looked nice. Wore them a lot. And one of my assistant managers in DC, he's like, man, D, sell those to me. I was like, man, this is like one of my grails. I don't want to get rid of these. But then I stepped on a freaking sensor tag pin.
And it popped it?
And it popped the 4-foot air bubble in one of them. And I still wore them for a couple months, but I was like, F it.
How much you sell them to it for?
$200.
Dang. Well, see?
And that was
with a flat tire.
With the flat tire. And that was like 10 years later.
Dang.
So I got them for free, wore them for 10 years, popped a tire, and sold them for $200.
That's a win all the way around.
But Miles Drummond, if he ever sees this, shout out Miles. But big time sneaker kid, and he loved them. So I sold them to him.
Dude, there's plenty of like kind of shoes I've got off of eBay. They're kind of beaters, but they're like something I really, really wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it fucking matter? You know what I mean? If I got a better pair of shoes and I wore them long enough, they're going to look like these anyway. I'm not going to wear these at a rate because I got so many shoes. I'm not going to wear them at a rate that they're going to wear out really fast. So if it's a decent shoe, will you wear used shoes?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people don't wear used shoes, which I think is weird. I mean, your stinky ass feet's in your shoes. I mean, like,
Yeah.
what's the difference?
I wear used shoes. My very first store that I checked in as a manager, through the audit period, the audit day, we found a pair of Cardinal 7s, and this was probably 2012, 2011, and it was a mismate. It was a 10.5 and an 11, and the right foot was the 11, the left foot was the 10.5, and I tried them all, and they're brand new. It's just it got shipped to the store as a mismate, and that happens. And I put them on, and for people that aren't familiar, if somebody offers you a mismate in a store to give you a sweet ass deal on it, take it, because the difference between half a size is almost less than 1/4 of an inch. So visually, you can't tell. As long as it fits your foot and you can't feel the difference, get it. So I asked the auditor, Larry, I said, Larry, so this is a mismate. What are we going to do with this? He's like, I'll sell it to you. I said, how much? He said, put a tag on it for $39.99. I was like, done. Brand new pair of Cardinal 7s that I rocked for years and years. I paid $30 for.
One of your feet shorter than the other now? I'm just kidding.
Well, everybody has a foot bigger than the other. And it
was yours?
It matched.
Okay, well, it's
the
meant to
11
be.
was my right, and the 10.5 was my left.
You have a lot of meant to be sneaker stories.
I do.
That sounds like an addict.
I got it. You want to hear another one?
Hey, I got a bunch. That's what I'm saying. I have a bunch too. That makes me sound like a sneakerhead addict as well, right?
When I was checking into my store in DC, doing the audit again, and doing an audit, there's a little report we get. It's called the penny SKU list, and it's basically the audit finds old SKUs in the inventory, and they're literally a penny. So you go through and you find them. And
Ooh, it's like Storage Wars, dog.
exactly. Exactly. So I find this SKU, and it was a pair of navy blue nylon Cortezes with a white swoosh.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Brand new in the box. Size 11. I can't remember if it was 11 or 11.5, but it was a penny. So you know what I did?
Bought them?
Bought that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm checking it. I'm like, this is an omen. Like, the shoe's been here waiting for me. So I got this pair of brand new Cortezes for 1 penny.
I think the only Cortezes I've ever owned, I had a pair of those Kendrick Lamar Cortezes, you know, the one they were like white with the navy like stripe up the middle and they lace really weird or something like that. Like I got a pair of those, but I got those on sneakers and then I sold them for like a shit ton.
I love Cortezes, and like I got those. I still have the Gumps. Got to have the Bubba Gumps.
Those are cool.
The Cholos, the black with the white. I still have those. And what's crazy is for somehow COVID killed Cortezes. I don't know if you've noticed.
Why did Dunks kill Cortezes?
No. Ever since COVID, Nike stopped manufacturing Cortez shoes.
Oh, really?
You can't find them anywhere. Anywhere.
What is that about?
No idea. COVID killed all kinds of stuff in shoes.
Proceed. Keep going. Like, I'm interested.
COVID killed Cortezes. COVID killed Timberlands. 95s.
So you're saying coming out of the pandemic, you couldn't sell those shoes?
You couldn't find them. They weren't making them. You got no inventory of them. Customers come in all the time.
I want some Timbs.
Yeah, I want some Timbs. Everybody wants Timbs. I don't know where to find them. I don't know where to send you. Sorry.
What's that about?
No idea. Like literally before COVID, I had a store that had 20 different styles for men in Timberlands. And it took 2 years to get Wheats, Butters, Construction, original Timberlands. Took 2 years to get them back in store.
Do you think they just stopped?
It probably had something to do with labor.
Well, is that why Nike stopped making certain models of certain shoes?
Maybe. No idea. It's just weird.
Dude, Okay, this segment is called "No One's Gonna Give a Shit Except for Me and Dustin." Okay, what is your theory on this Panda push? This Nike Dunk Panda push. What's your theory? Because I feel like that you have probably a better theory than I do.
I don't know what
The Panda push. I like that I just called it the Panda push.
Double P. At the very beginning, they were limited, but they were easy to get.
Because nobody really wanted them.
Nobody really wanted them, but people were reselling them to make money. And I guess Nike realized that they could just keep putting them out. And people kept buying them. Like literally. Every 2 days. Y'all got pandas? And we'd get them in every other week. And we didn't care because we're selling them.
Yeah, you're just a retailer, right?
Yeah. Like, cool. Bring all your homies, all your buddies. One per person. Get them out. I don't care. But then I'm going into resale stores and they got panda. And I'm like, why the hell are y'all buying all these pandas off of people? And they're selling them for right at retail or less than retail. I guess when it gets to those situations, it's just for them to make some money too. I can't explain it, but it doesn't matter. It didn't matter when or how many pairs of pandas we got in. They were gone within a day.
Oh, wait. So for reference, since we jumped into this and I gave no reference, we are talking about the Panda Dunk, which is like, it's a shoe you see everywhere. I mean, even me saying it's a black and white Nike Dunk sneaker is all it is.
Low top,
right?
You have a pair. Your mom has a pair.
Your daughter probably has a pair.
Yeah.
So somebody in your family has a pair of these shoes. Trust me.
Your teacher, your dog.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like everybody has I have a pair of these shoes. I got it kind of as a joke, but anyway, so this is kind of, and then they started releasing the vintage pandas. And I was like, are these just pandas that they couldn't get rid of? And they just like slapped a little yellow around the midsole and was like, hey, we'll call these vintage. But like shortly after that, they were selling like women's only vintage on sneakers. Anywhoosie, this is my theory. Converse, if I say Converse Chuck Taylor, what's the first color you think of?
Black, white.
That's right. If I say Adidas All-Star Shell Toe, what do you think of?
White, black.
Right? They wanted to make their iconic shoe that is those shoes. But I don't really know if that is possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like they want to have their shoe that's
I think they might have did it.
Maybe. But like when I think about a Chuck Taylor and a Converse All, those two shoes, like it's kind of like in a weird way, Converse and Adidas can't do any better. Like, that's about it. You know, everything else they do is kind of like, eh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Outside of Kanye's stuff, him doing his own thing. I guess what I'm saying is that, like, what, you have any Adidas shoes?
Might have 2 or 3 pair that they gave to me for free.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because even though really Adidas is not known for much else, they probably have like their handful of iconic shoes the whole time, kind of like the Cortez or whatever. Like that one shoe, it's iconic. Probably because Run DMC, probably because of culture.
The superstar.
Yeah. Right? Shell Toe. Yeah.
Same thing.
And the Chuck Taylor's the same way.
But I don't know if you knew this. You know that Nike owns
Both of those.
Converse.
Yes.
They don't own Adidas.
Yes, that's true. Yes, but they do own Converse.
So they have their black, white shoe in each division now.
I don't know. I don't know if they achieved their goal is what I'm saying.
In my professional opinion,
I'll take it.
I would say yes. And they're going to keep cranking them bad boys out.
Well, then I'm not worried about keeping mine fresh. I'm just going to beat these shits up.
Beat them down.
Yeah, just beat them down. Then I'm going to call them vintage.
There you go.
Yeah.
But going back to theories and sneakers, and this could be the last sneaker thing.
No, that's fine.
I had a theory years ago that I think Nike secretly owns Reebok.
No, because Adidas owns Reebok.
That's what they say.
What?
But Reebok became so irrelevant. Adidas is kind of like, they're maintaining. You know what I'm saying? Reebok became so irrelevant. Nobody buys Reebok anymore. How are they still around?
Except me. How are they still?
But you buy the vintage retro stuff.
Mm-hmm. But that's how they once Adidas bought Reebok, they were like, well, the only chance we have is this retro shit. You know what I mean? Like because they knew no one else was buying anything but retro stuff. And it's mainly just the question and the answer.
And Shaq's.
They're kind of their main basketball shoes, you know what I mean? Anyways, what were you saying?
What's the last new technology that Reebok has produced or released?
Hex, was it the Hex shit?
The ZigTech.
Oh, that was ZigTech, right?
And that was 2010.
Okay, so why does Nike, what is your theory on Nike? This conspiracy theory that Nike owns them?
That Nike owns them. They just use them as kind of like a little stick around, make what money you can make for us. And we'll keep you guys we'll keep you guys employed.
But isn't that what Adidas is doing?
Adidas comes up with stuff from here and there.
No. But like seriously, like Adidas owns Reebok, correct?
I didn't think they did.
They do, 100%. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
Because I read it and I was like, holy shit, Adidas owns Reebok? I mean, I should have hold in your theory, but to your point, somebody owns Reebok and they're just like, hey, we're just going to do the retro shoes. They get me.
Yeah.
I mean, they got me. You know what I'm saying?
There's a sucker born every minute.
But I like, you know, I
like that same retro Reebok stuff you're talking about. We were talking about it earlier.
Look, I'm Team Iverson. Over like people are all Kobe fans. You know what I mean? And there's definitely a reason to understand why somebody be a Kobe fan. But if you had to maybe pick between like Kobe, Iverson, because they're the same draft class, right? Or they're close.
Very, very close. I don't know if they're the same.
I think they are the same draft class.
All right.
I
believe you.
For this argument, we'll say they are.
Yeah.
I was always Iverson. It's like LeBron and Carmelo. I'm Team Carmelo.
All the way.
All the way. No LeBron.
No.
Is LeBron on the Mount Everest of basketball?
No.
Oh man, who's on there?
Real quick.
Did I derail us from another conversation?
We're gonna do one more just sneaker question. I'm sure you probably know it, but lots of sneaker people have no idea. But I'm pretty sure you do.
Okay, we'll see how much I know.
What was Kobe's first shoe?
Crazy 8.
Good job. See?
Thank you.
There you go. Lots of people you say Kobe's first shoe was with Adidas. They're like, no, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, go look it up, youngster.
Crazy 8s. And then they did that spaceship looking shoe. Right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm out of here. And then he went to Nike.
And then he went to Nike.
And then he had a mishap in Colorado. And Nike dropped his ass. And he hung out for a little while. And then Nike was like, oh, you know what? You're a really good basketball player. We want you back.
Please come back in.
We're sorry about that. We'll name a whole collection after him and call it Mamba. Is that cool?
Can I take a mulligan? Can we take a mulligan, please?
Hey, but just like think about that. Like, because at that time, again, social media, we're not kind of in the era we are now. He got dropped by Sprite. Everybody dropped him. And then everybody was like, kind of like, oh, is anybody looking? Hey, you want to come back?
What is this? Kobe, come back.
What is that over there? Hey. Oh, it's okay.
Exactly.
It's like trying to sneak minors into a bar. So I create a distraction so we get Kobe back at Nike, please.
This final segment is brought to you by HeyJustBe.com. I believe that achieving balance in the mental, physical, and metaphysical aspects of your purpose through learning, serving, and creating can transform your life into one you truly enjoy living. Want to learn more? visit www.heyjustbe.com.
Oh man. So how I usually wrap this thing up is I usually ask people like, what do you do to just be the best version of yourself so you can be good for everybody else? But I've kind of asked you to do something a little bit special for me. So as someone that has had a child go through cancer, survive, like what would you recommend to like how did y'all kind of try to take care of yourself while all this like stuff is going on? Like how would you recommend like a person going through that take care of themselves?
You definitely have to support whoever you're with,
Your partner.
whoever you have. You might be a single parent, but whoever you have, lean on them as much as you can. We're still in a cancer group on Facebook. It's something that we joined whenever our son was diagnosed. And it literally is just a support group for parents who have kids going through cancer. It was a very good group to be in for questions and answers and advice. So I would recommend that. Nikki always pushes, and she always had like a mom sense, spider sense. She always, ever since the kids were babies, when something was wrong, she knew something was wrong before it actually escalated somehow. Spider sense. And it even went into his treatment when he was in a bad spot in certain phases of it, and they'd run tests, and the answers that they would give us weren't good enough. And she asked for more tests or different doctors. And the more tests and different doctors would find stuff that the original doctors didn't figure out. And they were able to stop it before it got worse. So had she not kept pushing for more answers and better answers, it could have been a lot worse. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's her number one piece of advice that she gives to parents that have cancer kids. Never stop asking questions. Never stop pushing. Like, that's your baby. You're their number one fighter, and you got to do everything you can to take care of them.
And to that point, like, a doctor has 100 patients.
Exactly.
There's no reason why they're going to make you top priority. So sometimes you have to speak up for that because it's important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, I need you to do better.
Yeah.
So that's her number one piece of advice when it comes to getting the right treatment and answers for your cancer kid. So that support. And like I said earlier when we were talking, we always found it to be honest. Found it positive to be honest. I guess it might depend on your child's age, but they're already going through enough. There's no need to slap them in the face just before something bad really happens, in our opinion. But that would be, like I said, up to the parents and the age of the child.
I don't lie to my child, but I don't tell her everything. I tell her stuff when she on a need to know basis. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so, that obviously is kind of my judgment, but there's just certain things that she just doesn't need to be exposed to at the age of 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but I try to tell her as much as I possibly can. And to your point, you've interacted with her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like a little person.
She's
running around the house making demands.
She's adorable. She's smart. For a 3-year-old, she's super smart. Like I was saying earlier, she's personable. She has good communication skills already. So y'all are doing good.
Thank you.
Especially for her to be an only child.
Yeah, all she wants to do is make friends. But then she wants me to be friends with her friends. I'm like, I got enough friends. I definitely don't need 3-year-old
Yeah, I don't need any
friends.
3-year-old friends.
Go make your own friends.
That'd be weird.
So are you? So talking about taking care of ourselves. Are you actively sneakering? Are you actively collecting sneakers? Or are you getting out of the game? What are you doing?
I'm on hiatus right now because I'm still transitioning into my new career.
Oh, so just financially making sure that because you ain't got that hookup no more, dog.
I ain't got the hookup, man. I'm sure I still could get it.
Sure,
I got enough plugs,
but not the.
It's not a priority.
Yeah, and that's weird how that changes too, right?
Yeah.
But I still got my mainstays. I still got my shit that I'm gonna keep. I'm gonna rock.
Yeah.
This is my idea. Is I'm just gonna get every shoe, just the shoes that like I've always wanted. Try as close as possible. And then at the rate that they're retroing these shoes, just like every 3 or 4 years, I'll just trade them in for the newest model of that shoe, right?
Yeah.
But I'll just have those shoes. And then a bunch of obscure ones that nobody cares about. And then I want to learn how to resole my own shoes. I just wear the same shoes forever.
That's a good plan, in theory.
What's your best shoe? What's your number one shoe? That you own. You can even go as far as that you have owned. Besides that Air Max we're talking about.
I was gonna say that.
That was it though. I'm right.
I'll go back to another good one. Man, I had the Bo Jackson Trainer Max 91s. I don't know if you can remember those.
Yeah, that original colorway.
The one I had was all 3M.
Oh wow.
The entire upper was 3M. Sorry.
I don't think I've ever seen that shoe before.
The midsole was black, but it had like gray cracks in it, like concrete.
Oh, no way.
And then on the back of one, it had the Raiders logo. And on the back of the other, it had 34. What was his number?
Yeah, 34.
Yeah. On the back of the other one, it had 34. And like I said, the entire shoe was 3M. And
I've never even seen that shoe.
I wore it 3 or 4 times. They still were brand new. One of the times we were moving, the last time we were moving from Houston to Florida, because I knew we were going from my closet that's as big as your garage or the podcast room.
It's a garage.
I knew we were going from a space this large to like an apartment closet. I sold like 70 pairs of shoes.
And that was one of them.
That was one of them.
How much you sell them for?
Like $40.
How much were they? Like
Originally they retailed for probably like 120, 130.
Okay.
And I wore them, so they were worn, and sold them for like $40. But just for S's and G's one day, I looked them up on Goat.
dead stock?
No, even worn on Goat.
What were they?
$800.
Yeah.
I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
But that's the way that it goes. You know what I mean? Like I always like whenever I post a shoe for sale, I post what I want to get for it. Now the market might not be trending that, but like as the market goes up for that shoe, it'll reach where I want to get. But I already decide where I want to get out at, so I'm kind of projecting my future a little bit.
That's the same way I do it. But like I said, I sold these in a garage sale.
God damn.
Not thinking they were anything.
Some lucky bastard was looking that shit up on Goat. Goat didn't probably exist at that time, did it?
I did. This was.
Hey, he was looking on Goat. He's like, oh goddamn, they're like $800, like not even dead stock. This motherfucker is selling for
No, because that was not the customer that bought them. One of my neighborhood customers from south of the border came and bought like 30 pair.
And then he went and sold them.
She went and sold them in Mexico. for probably $25.
Man, I remember I used to work at that Nike store in San Marcos. Whew. Dang.
Working at the Nike store was it, man.
Oh, well, have you had a good time, my man?
I have.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
We laughed. We cried. Hey, I always ask everybody to give me a hug. So push that mic out and then jump over here and give me a hug. Oh, you're like, oh, no, like I go left, heart to heart, dog. All right. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
good stuff.